So let's talk about some rates today. And I don't mean what rates are going on, and I can tell you what a 30-year fixed is and all of that today. I'm talking about, have you ever been in a scenario where your friend or a family member or somebody either just refinanced, purchased, or maybe was just checking around for rates, and their rate that they got was quoted differently from the rates that you've been finding out in the market, or maybe the rate that you actually closed with? There's a lot that goes into rates, and I know I talk about this quite frequently on different topics. Different kinds of loans have different rates. You may have gotten a conventional loan, they may have gotten an FHA loan. Different products have different rate structures. So in addition to that, not just that type of rate, let me talk about what goes into a rate. First off, rates change daily, and they sometimes change in the middle of the day. I know you've been hearing what's in the news with the oil prices and with the war in Iran and all of that, but those things affect the mortgage-backed security bond market. If the market starts out at one level and takes a dump at the middle of the day, a lot of times my rate is going to change at the middle of the day. So you may have called at 9 o'clock this morning and I may have told you, oh, it's 6 1/8. And then you call back at 3 and said, okay, so let's talk about that rate we were talking about earlier. And I'm like, well, that rate's not available anymore. It's now 6 1/2. And you're like, what? You told me something different. Well, that's because the market changes. Market changes daily, hourly, minutely. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that's a word. But anyway, it changes a lot. So you have to keep in mind that maybe when somebody else bought a house and got a different rate, the market was different. I mean, let's face it, the market was totally different a month and a half ago. Doesn't mean we're not going to get there again. Doesn't mean you shouldn't buy a house. It just means the market's different. And your rate could be an eighth, a quarter, a half higher. Still, again, not a bad rate. So I'm not telling you don't buy. I'm just telling you that's what affects the changes in the market. And then there's also things called loan level pricing adjustments. We call them LLPAs. So again, loan level pricing adjustments. And what that means to you, you don't necessarily see them, but we see them when we're pricing a loan. Let's say you buy a house, you find a house for $330,000. Your friend finds a condo for $330,000. You're both doing a conventional loan, and you're going to put down 10% and they're going to put down 20%. So right there in that little scenario, we have a conventional loan. Now, the condo is going to have an LLPA. It's going to hit it for about a quarter. You didn't get that. So maybe your rate was 6 with 1 point. We started at 6 with 1 point. Now his is 6 with 1 1/4 points. Then we turn around and you're putting 10% down and he's putting 20% down. So his 6 1/4, 1 1/4 points. Now maybe you got hit with that same quarter. So now you're buying two different properties, putting down two different kinds of down payments, but you're both getting the same 6% at 1 1/4% rate or pricing. That's the points that you would pay for that. So that's where those differences come in. I could go a lot deeper with loan level pricing adjustments, but just know they're out there and they're on all loans. Every different kind of loan has that particular thing. So when you put different down payments down, whether you buy a house, whether you buy a condo, whether you buy a duplex, whether you buy a manufactured home on land, everything is different. Everything has an adjustment. Down payments have adjustments. Your credit score. So maybe your credit score is 640. His credit score is 720. Well, guess what? He's not having as high of a loan level adjustment as you are. Maybe you got hit with 0.5 and he didn't get hit with anything. So again, that's where the adjustments come in. One of the last factors that goes into loan level pricing and things like that would be, how are you taking occupancy to the home? Is it your primary home? Is it a second home? Is it an investment property? All of those make a difference, and they make a difference in your pricing. Every loan is different. So when you call in and ask for a rate, and that person, that loan officer you called says, oh, 6.5 today, and then leaves it, you might want to dig a little deeper, especially if you know your credit score, the type of house you're looking at, or whatever. Because if you call me, I'm going to tell you, well, based on what you've told me, what kind of house you want, what you're looking for as far as a conventional FHA loan, how much down payment you want. Those are questions I'm going to ask you prior to giving you a rate. Because again, you may call out or call somebody and ask for that rate, and that rate is not the rate you're going to get. So different things build into your rate. So again, just because you get a 6.25 rate and somebody else got a 6% rate does not mean you got lied to, cheated, or anything like that. And it doesn't mean your deal is not a bad deal for your situation. Everybody's situation is different. We like to put everything together, like to be upfront with you. So if you've got any questions, call me. I can do loans for anybody. So what I do is I put the puzzle together, tell you what your rate's going to be, and then we go from there. So call me, Dawn Hall, Van Dyke Mortgage, 239-789-7561, your lender for life.